boy. Oh boy, here we go into the Alpha and Omega series. That's right, series. You want to know how many of these there are? There's 8. There's 8 of these movies. But I think some of them are only short animations and not all feature-length films, and I'm here to review them all. Yes, I'll be going through all of them. I've only ever seen the first one, which I will be reviewing in this video. Then we'll be reviewing each one, same day, each week, so check back for the review. So anyway, let's get into this, shall we? Alpha and Omega was made by Crest Animation, who also worked on Norm of the North and all the Swan Princess movies. Oh boy. It was made in 2010 and features several voice talents from Justin Long, Hayden Panettiere, Dennis Hopper, Danny Glover and Christina Ricci. So a pretty good cast, so how could it go wrong? Well, in terms of voice acting, it's perfectly fine, but I know there are people who don't like the main character Humphrey, voiced by Justin Long. But here's the thing, this character is totally the actor just being himself. Like, if you have ever watched a Justin Long film, especially one of his comedies, then you know his style, and that's exactly what Humphrey is like. And Justin Long is one of my favourite comedians, he's one of my favourite actors, so I myself love Humphrey because he is just Justin Long. Anyway, I got that out of the way, and that's just something I wanted to say, so let's just move on with, like, the plot of the film. So the story revolves around the Alpha Wolves, ones who will go hunting, and the Omegas, who are like the goofy ones. They try to keep the peace and make lives easier, basically by just having fun. Ultimately though, I can see what they're doing with it, but it's really pointless. The only reason it exists in the story is so the two main characters, Kay and Humphrey, can't be together romantically. It's a pretty dumb way to be like, well, these two characters are perfect for each other and clearly like each other, but, oh no, we wouldn't have a story if they had no reason to not be together. Sadly, the Alpha and Omega thing wasn't used very well, and isn't even explained how it works in this world exactly. This is more or less like, yeah, one's hunting, one's just the goofy side of things, and it's really kind of silly and dumb. It's not used well at all. It just made it seem very pointless. I will say the first joke of the movie does get me though, when they're like jumping at each other, hugging, and it's all in slow motion, all nice and lovey, and then it speeds back up and they're spinning around in the air screaming. That's funny to me, that's funny. But yes, we see Humphrey and Kate are the two main characters of the film. Humphrey, being an Omega, clearly has a thing for Kate, who is an Alpha, and she even has a thing for him clearly, but because, as I said, of the Alpha and Omega thing, they are not allowed to be together. So her father sets her up with their rival pack leader's son, Garth, so they can unite the packs. She is okay with doing this to help the pack. Though I will say, I like that in the entire movie, Humphrey has a thing for Kate. Like, it's not one of those movies where it's like, ew, no way, no, we are just friends. The entire time he is into her, and that was obvious, and it was a nice change. So the way they have to unite the packs is at the Moonlight Howl. A scene not a lot of people like, because the big thing that divides people of this film is the wolves don't howl, they sing. Now honestly, I am perfectly okay with this because films have done worse. I mean, if you're gonna add singing, you might as well do it when they howl. I always hear people saying when their dogs howl, oh, they are just singing. So to me, I don't mind it, and there's a couple of good parts with it in my opinion, and used well enough that, like, in one part where they do howl was good and used well to add to the emotion of the scene. So anyway, it turns out that perfectly handsome, gorgeous Garth that would be mated to Kate does not howl very well. So she ends up making a quick exit and bumping into Humphrey. Here the two are shot with sleeping darts by humans, those scumbags, and are taken across country to basically to repopulate that area with new wolves. Oh my. Oh my. But of course they want to go home. Well, Humphrey maybe not. He looks pretty excited. But there will be war between the two packs if Kate isn't there, so there's this journey they go on to go home. So this is where the journey of the movie starts, bumping into different animals along the way, friendly and others not so friendly. It's your one-off-a-meal kids movie in the end, nothing special about it, and that makes it different besides the howling singing. Along the way they bump into Marcel and Patty, the two sidekicks kind of thing in the film. You know, they're the two random characters who are meant to be like the comedy relief of the film, but man, I hated them. They are the worst part of the film. Well, Patty is fine, Marcel is just annoying, and I simply don't like these two. So that's not a good thing about the film, in my opinion. I did not like them. Like, I can stand them, I just don't really understand the jokes or what they're going for. They're just not funny. So they just come off as annoying. They have throughout the movie these obvious 3D stuff they tried to do, which I think the animation they have could work with the 3D, so maybe might have to see it if I can watch it in 3D. But a lot of the stuff they do is obvious for the 3D effect, and it does make things look silly. It makes the animation look worse than it actually is. The times when it can look good, the facial animations are pretty well done. Some of the night shots look really beautiful. But there's one particular one, just something is off to me. Just that little bit off. A lot of the movie does come off as low budget, though. I think they were trying to cater to the 3D stuff. But yeah, it's definitely on the cheaper side of things most of the time. Just times when they're wanting it, it looks off. It's sad really that it does have that kind of janky animation or something, I don't know, there's just something wrong with it. The models still hold up though, the models are still pretty well, decent enough. Though honestly my favourite parts of the film are with Garth and Kate's sister Lily. Totally not because we have the same hairstyles, no, not at all. But yeah, I really love these characters. Lily ends up being the one who has to show Garth around the place. So the two end up spending time together and end up falling in love. Lily showing him how to have some fun and also teaching him how to howl. And I just really like these scenes with these two characters. I really honestly do, and wish there was more of the cuteness together. Them to me is what saved the film, honestly. Because it's just sweet. Garth at first seems like the typical sort of jock kind of character, like he'll be a bit up himself. But no, he ends up being like this really sweet character. He ends up like, yeah, liking Lily, who is just this silly little alpha girl. I don't know, to me it's just nice to see the film take a break from their adventure and focus on these two. But not like the adventure isn't fun, it has its funny moments, like how a biker dude married a little Liberian girl, showing that the oldest of couples can exist and be very happy together. There's some kind of subtlety there in the end that's not just there to be funny. It's yeah to show you alphas and omegas can be a thing, even if it just seems odd. And honestly, if that's like the message of the film, that like the oldest couples can be a thing, I appreciate that. That's cool. I get it. I get it. It's nice. But yeah, not really much else to say about this film. It's a pretty average movie in the end. Like I know people are very split on this film. It's either one you hate or one you don't mind watching. Honestly, I don't mind this movie. I'm not sure why it gets the divided audience, honestly. Is it great? No, it's not a great film, but is it a good film? Yeah, I think so. So I'll give this movie a score of 5 out of 10 foxes. It's an average film, not perfect, not bad, but I still find myself enjoying it enough. I do think the animation can be odd and just not quite right. But I like this train scene, and with Garth and Lily out in the moonlight, I think it's when the animation shines the most and can look pretty. But I also don't like the side characters, but I like the main characters, and I don't mind the singing they did. So yeah, average movie, I think. So now, gotta watch the second movie. Oh joy. Oh joy. So, I watched the second Alpha and Omega movie finally. So first of all, is it really the second movie? Is it a sequel? That's an odd question, I know. Like, well yes, but, and I mean a big but like my own. Well, okay, this movie is called Alpha and Omega 2, a holiday adventure. And it's based around Christmas time. It's all very much Christmas. And the movie is around 50 minutes long, so not really movie length. So is it actually a Christmas special then? It's a bit of both, but it does go by Alpha and Omega 2. So I don't know, it's weird. So anyway, let's just jump into this review. This movie was made in 2013, so 3 years after the first one, starring, well, so in the movie, none of the original voice actors returned, none of them. I don't know who did the voices for this one, but they do a fantastic job of sounding like the originals. Like a really outstanding job there. I really have to give them credit for that. The voice of Humphrey was a voice actor I really like, so it was sad that it wasn't him, but he does do a fantastic job of sounding like him, so kudos there. You know, when you're doing like critiques and such, you gotta give credit where credit's due, and credit is due there, so good job to the voice actors there. So the story is about Kate and Humphrey have pups! 3 of them, 2 of them alphas, and the other one is an omega. How that all works, I really don't understand again. It doesn't make sense, honestly, once again. But by the way, I do have a few problems with this film. One is the animation. It's slightly worse than the original. For the most part, it's still like the other, but it did get a slight downgrade. Especially some scenes with Garth and Lily where her hair is like so white. So like the hair looks like not enough attention was put into it. But basically this movie was straight to DVD and it does show. It's not as nice as the first one. Not that it's saying much, but as I did mention, the night scenes look nice in the original. And here, the scenes are just meh. Which is maybe a little weird, because why didn't they just use the same models? And the movie was made 3 years later, as I said. I don't know. Number 2, the names of the pups. While everyone else has pretty normal names, Humphrey, Kate, Patty, Winston, Lily, Tony. The pups are called Claudette, okay fine, Stinky and What. Well, that's harsh calling one of your cubs Stinky and the other one What just because he's small at birth. I don't know, such basic names you would hear in a kids movie basically. Just, his name is Stinky. It's just weird compared to all the other names, so it's very off-putting. So the film starts with the introduction to these characters, showing that Want, maybe small, is brave and strong and climbs up a tree to show that he can climb up a tree? I don't know. We then see Kate and Humphrey being all sappy and cute. They were talking about how it's the holidays and they are going to be making their first holiday dinner for everyone. So this is where the Christmas kind of stuff comes into it. Like Kate telling him to go out and get some holly. Though I do like a little joke here for the adults where his friend Salty, the stoner-like wolf from the first one, comes over and telling him, hey, let's go get some berries. And then Humphrey is all like, I don't like berries. Salty, fermented berries. It's like, Humphrey is just like, I love berries. That made me giggle. That did make me giggle. That's a good thing about this movie, honestly. I will say that I did not expect. There's no like kiddie jokes, like farts or something. Not that the first one did, but it's a straight-to-DVD sequel with kid characters. So I thought maybe I would do those kind of jokes, but they don't. There is like one poop joke towards the end of the film. There is that, but it's nowhere near as bad as what I thought. So that is a good thing, I will say. I don't know, it's just something I expected, but was surprised that there wasn't. Another little adult joke I like is basically Garth and Lily, still a cute-ass couple, are basically out living life in the forest, out in the grass kind of stuff. Like Garth is still an alpha, but prefers the omega life with Lily. And so his father says the two need to find a cave to live in. Garth says, me and Lily like living in the grass. The very tall grass. Oh my. Oh my. So anyway, while Want is up in the trees, he spots some other wolves around the area, and then his siblings get attacked by a bear. Some of the other wolves come to help, and when Want comes down, the other wolves capture him, taking him back to their neck of the woods. These wolves, you find out later, were once part of the Eastern Wolf Pack, the same as what Garth and his father are, but then joined up with the main lot at the end of the film. So they basically take him as bait to lure out the Western Pack, the main lot, so they can take over, I assume. So then Kate and Humphrey have to go get their child back. So that's what the story is about then. So then, like, how is the actual movie? Well, it's okay. The big problem is they do a lot of throwbacks from the first movie, and I get it, but it's also dumb that it doesn't try to be new then. They do the vine swinging from the first movie, not looking as good though, with a slightly worse animation. They have a little bear they come across, though this one can talk and says he is lost and such and needs to find its mum. So Humphrey is reluctant at first because of trouble he had with a little bear in the first movie. Later on in the movie, once they get to the road wolves, Humphrey pretends to be this mighty omega standing up on Garth and tall grass to make himself look really tall. I have to admit, this scene did make me giggle because all you just see is him hovering around in tall grass. It made me giggle, but yeah, it ends with a little bear finding his mom saying that these wolves saved my life, but the other wolves are bad. So Mom gathers up the other bears for a massive epic fight with wolves. Well, okay, not really. Especially when Lily ends up being the one that takes out the most with a log. Yeah, her. So I guess that is a disappointment, I guess. Not that I expected much out of it in the first place. But yeah, so Kate and Humphrey get their son back, the other two cubs are with them, and they decide to go off towards where the humans are to meet up in that particular direction. But then it starts to snow and they get lost. What ends up running up a tree once again and spots a human road not too far away. But still play fast, so that the only way to get down there is by sledding down in a log. Just like they did in the first movie. But I have to admit, at the end, it's pretty damn adorable. I liked the little slow motion cuteness joke they did in the first movie. In this one they go slow mo and Kate hugs Humphrey from behind, and gotta admit, it's super adorable. So they end up back at the same gas station from the first movie, which makes no sense. Because how did they end up there? Didn't they get drugged and taken far away in the first movie that they ended up hitching a ride in an RV and on a train to get back home, but somehow they found themselves that far away to end up at the gas station that was in the beginning of the journey in the first? What? Okay, sure, movie. Sure. Like, yeah, the first movie ended with them going on a train back to their home, and that took like all night or whatever. So, it just doesn't, like, how did they get to the freaking gas station? What? And then who was there? But the hunter that was there too in the first one. I guess he owns the place, so that's fine. So this is where I'll put my paws on my head and scream. Ah! Ah! Really, movie? Really? This part was so dumb. This part was just so dumb and Christmassy. So Christmassy! Oh my god. So Humphrey is of course scared because, well, there's a hunter who tried to kill them in the first one. So they back away towards the trash, but Wad is curious and looking up at the Christmas tree in the window, saying like, oh, look at the lights. And then sees the hunter is looking at him through the glass and quickly goes hides with his family. So now what does the hunter do? He looks over at a photo of his own family, walks out of the shop, house, whatever, with a Christmas hat on now, leaves the door open and gets in his car and drives away. And then the kids decide to get a better look at the Christmas tree. Runs in, Kate and Humphrey follow and see the hunter has left out foods in a little dog bowl for the cubs. Okay. And now they're all happy and everything. And in the next scene, they're all sleeping around this Christmas tree. Kate looks over at Humphrey and says, here we are, trying to find our way home again. They look at the kids, and Humphrey says, I think we already are. And it zooms out, and that's how it ends. What? What? Okay, sure, they'll just live with the human through the winter like dogs. I can't imagine what it would be like for the dude when he gets back. Just a bunch of freaking wolves at his home. Just, holy crap, I just wanted to give you guys some food. I didn't mean for you to stay here. Get the hell out of my house. Holy crap. Glad I still got my gun in my truck. I'll just go grab it then and get rid of your wolves. Ah! It's so dumb. Oh my god, it was so stupid. It was so freaking stupid of an ending. But okay, let's talk about what I thought about this movie. Well, first of all, it's a sequel, but it's definitely a Christmas special, especially with that sappy ending. There are a lot of callbacks to the first, some good, some unwanted, and just not needed. Like, I understand why they ended up at the gas station, why they had to do the vine tree again twice, mind you, because the Cubs do the same thing. And with a short one time, it needs to stand out and not just do the same stuff the first did, or else you might as well just watch the first one again. The movie, though, it's not bad. I will honestly say that. It was not bad. It made me giggle at times. The voice acting was spot on. The music is good. It has the same music from the first one. And I always like when sequels use the same music. So to me, that is like a good point added to it. But this does call itself a sequel, so it should be better or add more to the story. But it doesn't really add anything besides that they have pups. The story isn't the worst, but it's nothing new, and then they have the Christmas side of things, making it just feel out of place. The animation is slightly worse, and this is not a memorable movie. So I'm going to go into my score, and I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 10 foxes. Now, I want to say that a 5 out of 10 to me is not a bad movie at all. 5 is an average movie. 5 is a movie that you can put on while working on stuff. They're good background noise. They're good for reviewing at least once. I'm not one of those reviewers that anything below 7 is shit. I hate those kind of reviewers. 5 is still good. 5 is perfectly okay movie to watch. It's not one that you would probably put on a lot. Maybe, yeah, it's just as background noise. That's fine. So basically, a 4 isn't the worst to me. 3 and below is when it's bad. A 4 is one I won't technically recommend to everyone. It's not one that I would watch again. But I'm not going to say it was the worst thing I ever watched. 3 and below is when it's bad. 4, I'm saying don't go out of your way to watch it. But if you did like Alpha and Omega and like the characters, I say if you got time or want to watch something in the background, then I say give it a shot. If you really want, it's not a bad movie at all, honestly. I was going to give it a 5, honestly, until I saw that dumbass ending. And remembered, oh yeah, this is totally a Christmas special. Which is not bad, but it calls itself a sequel as well, so it's just confusing and just... The ending was just dumb. That dropped a point easily. So, the ranking for these movies are slowly going down. Will the third movie be a 3 in the Fox scale? We'll see in the next review. This film broke me. I did not expect it to get this bad so fast. Alpha and Omega 2 wasn't all that bad. Decent story for a sequel, had all the characters, good voice acting. But this movie, oh dear lord. Oh gosh. Let's just get on with the review. Let's get this over and done with. This movie came out in 2014, a year after the second. Once again, only about 50 minutes long, thank God. And this time the story is all about the Great Wolf Games, where the parts from different packs compete to show they're the best pack, I think. Even though there's only like 2 packs in the actual games themselves. I think this came out around the time of one of the Olympic Games, and so I think it was to promote that kind of thing. But honestly, for this review, I'm not going to go over every little detail, because it's not worth it. It's not. But we'll go over what's bad about this film, because this movie is very, very bad. One good thing is the same music, as I said before in my previous review. I like when sequels use the same music. That's one point to it. 1. But anyway, this film focuses a lot on Claudette, the female of the 3 pups, as she wants to enter the Great Wolf Games, partly because of a cute boy she met. You're both like 5. Like, seriously, it's like a love at first sight kind of thing, and they bond and become friends, but they're like totally into each other, but yeah, they're like 5. Like, they're just tiny little pups. It's so weird, and it's just so dumb. Worst of all is the kid sounds like a teenager. Like he has a big grown-up voice, and it's so off-putting. Then again, like, all the voice acting is horrible. Okay, all the returning characters sound fine. The main parts, Humphrey, Kate, Marcel, and Patty. And that's it. None of the other characters are in it, so my 2 favs odd. Like, shouldn't they at least be in the background to watch the pups at the games? I don't know. Like, yeah, so they're fine, but the pups from the other pack all sound like adults, and it's weird.
Yo, Fleet, you gonna bring?
It's just so bad. It's just horrible voice acting. Like, they had no idea what age their character was. Like, they didn't know they were playing pups. That to say, I do love the bad wolf of the movie. He has the deepest, evilest voice I think I've ever heard, and it's kinda amazing.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Whatever that was. Fleet, you have to hate your opponent to win.
But bad voice acting and a strange love story is just one thing. But oh, it gets worse. So as the story progresses, Claudette and her brothers recruit others into the games, one being a young bear who also sounds really grown up, just with a little bit of a lift to make him sound young, I guess, compared to the one in the second movie that actually sounded like a kid. And the bear has this weird subplot with birds, and he can't stand them, calling them evil as they come up to him. So literally you have to take time to solve that issue, showing that birds aren't evil and just want to be his friend, and it just goes nowhere and means nothing. Was it even funny? And he also has a friend that literally turns into Sonic when she runs too fast. Like, seriously, she turns into a big spiky ball and just goes. Oh, hell to this Sonic. This is the true Sonic right here. Oh, yes. So as the movie goes on, they talk about how Claudette is great at turning and the others aren't. Like, it's just so weird with, like, her love interest. Sounds weird saying that, because saying pups. Calm, Blazie. Calm. Like, okay, the first thing is a race. In fact, the only thing they do is race. Whatever. The first thing they do is race, and everyone's doing fine, going around all the corners and all that. But then Claudette comes in, and suddenly it's like they remember the subplot, because then the coach on the bad guys team, who's also is the love interest dad, that's just like, oh, no one can beat my son, he's the fastest around. But then he can't make the turn, while Claudette freaking drifts around and is able to win because of it. Yet, like, no one else had a problem making those same turns before?
No one is faster than my son. Come on, Fleet!
Do the spin out, Claudette!
What? The spin out?
Okay, movie. Okay. You know what? Just whatever. Because it gets worse. Because I haven't talked about the animation yet. Holy damn, I do not think it could get worse. Surely it had to get better than the second one, right? Ha! No, it's so much worse. Laughably worse. Like, I literally laughed at certain scenes because they were just so bad. I can't show because of copyright. Actually, screw it. I might end up just showing some scenes. So, here, I might just get rid of the sound effects and just talk over it, whatever. The fluid animation in one scene is the first sign of, oh god, this animation is worse. But it keeps going downhill. I have made better stuff in Blender back in high school, and I don't even know how to really use any of those programs. Just the little cub characters look off most of the time as well, and when they are running, dear god, it looks awful. And this movie is nothing but running, so most of this movie looks awful. The running animation is horrendous, and then the sliding animation is hilariously bad. There's a scene where Kate's hair is going to her back, like it goes into like the fur, and it just looks so off-putting, and just like an animation glitch, and it's so obvious as well. But, my favorite scene is this one, and I'm just going to show it to you.
Winner takes all.
You mean 4 against 4?
No. 1 against 1. My son against Claudette. A run around the mountain and then down to the field. Fleet is strong on the rocks and Claudette on the field.
See that? The background, the clouds, change for a second. Just randomly the background suddenly changes. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. It's the strangest thing. How does that happen? How for a split second does the background change? And it's so noticeable. How did no one catch this? You know why? Because they probably didn't bother watching their own movie to notice this odd glitch. It's so damn weird and so damn hilarious. I had to rewind it several times and just make sure my eyes weren't playing tricks, but nope, it happens. The background just suddenly changes. Oh gosh. What is this movie? What is it? This movie broke me. So another major plot point of the film is that the evil coach is, well, evil, and an ass to his kid, basically putting all the pressure on him because as a kid himself, he failed at the game, so now he is putting pressure on his son to compete and win. Interesting idea that I have seen done before, but it's an interesting idea. It's good, like, I don't know. But it just really didn't work. Not like when the rest of the film is just bad. It just broke me. I don't know if I can go on and watch the others. Like, literally, I don't know if I wanted to watch the others, but surely it can't get worse, right? Right? I guess I will have to find out. As I promise you all, I will watch them all and review them all. But right now, it's time to get to the score of this movie. I give this movie... I don't know what to give this movie. It's a 2. This movie is a 2 out of 10 foxes. Because dear God, oh man, it was bad. I want to give this movie a 3 because it made me laugh because of how bad it is, but no, this movie deserves a 2 because of how bad it is. It's just so bad that, yes, it's hilarious, and in a way, I recommend watching it because it's just so hilariously bad with the animation, but at the same time, don't waste your time. Just don't waste your time. It's so bad. I did not expect it to be this bad. It is! It is! Oh, gosh. I guess all I could do now is just continue watching them. I'm only on the 3rd movie of like 8, I think. Oh gosh. Guys. If you've ever watched this movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. So, Alpha Omega 4, The Legend of Sawtooth Cave. Well, just Sawtooth Cave, because after the 3rd one, they stopped numbering them. That happens a lot when the 4th movie comes out. Weird, huh? I am just gonna go right out and say it. It did not get worse. Holy crap! Strange for sure, but not worse. I am really surprised, honestly. I am shocked. I enjoyed this movie. Holy crap, I enjoyed an Alpha and Omega sequel after a really horrible one.
What?
I really did not expect to like any of these sequels, to be honest, and 2 wasn't bad, 3 was horrendous, but 4, not bad at all. Okay, let's just start from the beginning then. This movie does not start with the usual cheery opening theme, instead a little darker with a wolf running away from other wolves hiding behind some bushes, and then she runs off and you just see 2 big glowing eyes in the bushes. And then the movie starts, so already very different approach and definitely unexpected. So this movie once again focuses on the pups, and again, what gets the attention? When will Stinky get the attention? Poor little Stinky. And by the way, you see other characters like Winston, Tony, the mom, and one of my favourites, Lily. Not Garth, but good enough still. Like, yay, other characters, because it's like, yeah, but you can't just make them all disappear like that, so that's great. Yay, good job. So what is an Omega but wants to hunt with the Alphas? Well, of course, he isn't allowed to, so Lily mentions that they'll be taking the Omegas to a place called Shadow Forest. Sounds very friendly. Sounds like a safe place to bring the pups. Oh yeah, totally. Good job, Lily. This place is supposedly haunted, and she isn't wrong about that. Because Winston, the leader of the Eastern Wolf Pack, mentions that he went there when he was younger. And it later shows a flashback of him as a cub. And I have to say, I loved what they did here. It's really smart. Basically, Winston is saying that he was on the hunt, hunting a very large animal with antlers sharp like a wok. But that's what he's saying, while they're showing you him and 2 others hunting a squirrel. Can I say that is great work there? Like, that's funny. And he's telling a story as they show the story, but it's not the same story. That's genius, and I applaud that. That was funny. That was good little writing there. So later, Lily takes Watt and 2 others into a forest, and here we see a ghostly wolf's face at a place called Sawtooth Cave. but what also sees two glowing eyes within the cave. So right away, I'm intrigued. I love mystery, so I wanted to watch this movie to find out what was going on, and it only gets more interesting from here. So Wad wants to know what's going on, and goes there again with his siblings, once again seeing this wolf spirit's head. But then Stinky ends up almost missing while Wad is up in a tree like he always is. I appreciate they always do have him running up trees. Like, other characters on sequels are nowhere to be seen, so they at least got one thing, like one running thing. Anyway, while up there, he sees a female wolf come out of the cave and points down towards where Stinky is, where he's like almost falling down into a river at that point. So the story continues, and Watt ends up managing to go into the cave where he meets a girl. Turns out she is blind, but has good hearing. That's how she knew where Stinky was. So the mystery still continues, and it ends up being really sad at this point. You see a flashback of her when she was young in her pack, and she's stumbling around and such because, well, she's blind, and then the leader decides he's going to kill her. Yeah, because, well, she won't be able to survive on her own, and it isn't any use for them, so it's just might as well just get rid of her. I get it, but still, wow, okay. That's nice to see in a kid's movie. But quickly her mother, I think, comes in and grabs her, saving her, running off into the woods. So then, this is the start of the movie, with her mother hiding in the bushes, hiding the cub. And then Wod's off, and the reason why we keep seeing glowing eyes is, I guess, because she has those kind of blind eyes that are white, almost. And so they kind of just glow in the moonlight. I'm assuming this is why, anyway. So she wants to find a way back to her pack and talk to the person that saved her life. She is blind, so she doesn't know what anyone looks like, because the leader of the tribe that tried to kill her is still there, but he's standing further away from the tribe, so Watt and Humphrey, who end up meeting up, distracts him while her and Kate try to talk to the pack. We find out here that I think that they say it is her mother, but she never made it back. So in short, we find out the leader killed her for disobeying the laws, and the spirit wolf we keep seeing it's just a mother trying to protect her daughter, and I think she ends up killing the other wolf. Like weird magical ghostly thing happened to the other wolf, and then yeah, he is gone. So in the end, the blind wolf ends up joining up with the western pack of wolves, and yeah, that's the movie. Once again, it's only about 45 minutes long, so a short one, but there's no like holiday stuff, and sure, this could be considered like a Halloween special, since I think it came out around September-ish. But there's nothing in your face Halloween, it's just a sad story. I was intrigued and felt sad. This movie was a really good watch. Like, it's not perfect. Couple scenes where they are talking too long, couple of annoying new characters, like really annoying, really annoying. But the story was the best yet, even if the ghosty thing, in the end, you can take it or leave it if you like that kind of stuff. But I really liked it. I honestly really liked it. Also, now that I've finished telling a story, I can talk about the movie itself. This, yeah, has a great story, but best of all, good animation. Like, seriously, the last one had so many faults, and just downright awful animation, but this one looks good. Still not outstanding. Like, it's Paw Patrol level, basically, but it's much better over 3 and even 2. Not once did I see a scene that looked bad. It all looks good. The music was same as always, which again, I do like when sequels do that. There's even a sex joke in it, which did make me giggle. Like, it's where, like, Humphrey in the middle of the night notices what is missing and wakes Kate up, and she is all like, Humphrey, what's going on? Oh.
Kate.
Humphrey, what is it? Oh, full moon. Runt? Where'd he go?
It's really funny. Again, I don't expect much out of these sequels, but they keep on surprising me, honestly. And this one, again, I really enjoyed. I'm not going to say go out and see this if you can. If you like Alpha and Omega, I'll say watch this one for sure. Basically, I'll get into my score, and I'll rate this movie a solid 5 out of 10 foxes. That's the same score I gave the first movie. I'm not going to say it's better or anything like that, because it's not. It's definitely not, but for what it is, it's pretty good. It was enjoyable enough. So now I'm looking forward to the next one, so let's hope it doesn't let me down now. Alpha Omega 5, Family Vacation. What do I even say about this film? Honestly, there's not much to really say about it. There isn't a whole lot of film. Okay, so this movie came out in 2015, about 40 minutes long again, so really they're starting to feel more like TV show episodes, and this one would be the boring one that no one cares about watching, because this movie is the flashback movie. Within 10 minutes, we get 5 flashbacks to the other movie, and I hate that when they would show the first movie, they replaced the voices. Way to show respect to the franchise. But, oh, it's worse. I did not catch this when I first watched this. I was looking through the first one to find out some info, and then I noticed something. There's a part of the movie where you see Humphrey with Marcel and Patty, and he's holding on to Marcel and getting flown everywhere. Then you see a moose swab, and he's looking like he's going right for it. But then you see he made it up on top of it and puts his paws up on top of the antlers, and he's fine. But not in this movie. We see the scene in a flashback, but this time he hits a moose, then it farts on him. He falls back down, looks up, and screams because the moose has a wide stance. But yeah, they changed a scene in the first movie for a freaking fart joke. They changed a scene. Now that's how you show respect. All up, there are 9 flashbacks throughout the film, and there are other callbacks too. Well, let me get to the plot of this film. So the plot of this film is Kate and Humphrey are taking their pups out for a family vacation. Hence the title of the movie. When suddenly they see 2 other wolves running from something, they tell them hunters are nearby and are capturing wolves to take across country, like they did in the first film. So now it's about getting somewhere safe. Being told that the other wolves have gone into hiding into the mountains. Okay, did none of them bump into the group along the way? How did they go and hide already? What? Okay, well, I think they basically decided to hide in a different location. Idaho! You know, the place they were taken to in the first movie? So what's the point of them hiding in that place if they're going to be taken to it? Isn't that the reason the hunters are after them? I am so confused. So there are callbacks to returning characters from previous films. These 2 Valley Girls, that's what they call themselves, and that's how they act. I hate them. And now they're like the main characters in this as well, and it's just annoying. It's funny as well, because I haven't actually mentioned Marcel and Patty a lot in these reviews, because I did not like them in the first film, because they were just annoying. But yeah, now they're just kind of there. So I don't hate them, don't anything them, really. But yeah, in this film, now we've got these 2 who are really annoying. So I hope that they're not in it to stay. So you got those 2, the bear and the porcupine from the third movie, which I did actually mention in my last review, that they don't, like none of the characters from the sequels appear, but they do in this one though, so oddly. But guess what? The bear is still afraid of birds. Didn't they solve that in that movie? Movie. Come on. If you're just gonna do a bunch of flashbacks and show all the previous movies, at least have some damn respect for those movies. And then Claudette's love interest from the third one is back, and now you're totally in love, and it's creepy because they're kids. But Flint is all like, me and Claudette will be together forever. And it's just creepy. It's weird. You're a kid! So basically while they're running away, they bump into these characters, and they end up coming along because they owe little cards from each movie helping them out. Neat little idea, I guess, but just means more annoying characters rather than the original characters. The only 2 being Kate and Humphrey in this movie. The other ones have already somehow run to the mountains. So they are being chased by 2 hunters and end up on the train again. Here the bear needs to pee, and so they hold him and he sticks his butt out to pee off the train, and they sing a song, which gets interrupted by a flashback, but then goes back to singing. But it's very quick, and so it's not bad, but still weird that they sing as he pees. Well, why do we have to stop to have that in the movie? Why was that scene important? Why did I need to sing as a bear is peeing? Why? So they also end up running into the old librarian girl from the first one, because it's like, oh, we can take her van the rest of the way. But here we see the old librarian is lonely now because the biker dude left her, showing us that the oddest of couples don't work out. Wow, movie. There was a message there in the first one and he just completely ruined it. Good job there. Good job. But oh, I haven't showed off the hunters yet, or talked about them. Because one of the hunters is the model they use for the biker. Good job, movie! But like, it's not the same person, because she clearly sees him and he sees her, but they don't interact or anything. And you would think they would if they were the same person, but no, they're not the same person. They just use the exact same model and changed his outfit. I don't even know. I don't know. Oh, movie. So the librarian is singing with all birds all around her. The bear goes ape because he hates birds and tries to attack them for no reason, as they weren't even bothering him. Like they normally would, but like, here they're not bothering him, so I don't even understand why he goes ape. So she pulls out a shotgun. Granny is packing heat. She pulls that out on the bear, and Sticky wants to help his friend, then everyone does, and she passes out. They think they killed her, which is a little funny, admittedly. The pup ends up licking her, she giggles and scuds about almost kinda sexually. It's a little wrong. It's a little awkward to watch. She gets up and just, oh, a family of wolves, bear, porcupines. Okay, and feeds them all food and everything is okay now. The hunters pop around, as I mentioned, looking for wolves, but she doesn't tell them. Next, Humphrey shows that she wants them to drive to Idaho. Luckily, she says that the only place she wants to drive to at the moment is Idaho. Well, isn't that a lucky coincidence? So she drives them there. The hunters try to ram her off the road. Yeah, Granny ain't taking shit though and rams him off and drives off the path. The others get out of the van and run off. Here they are still being chased and now starting to get fired out with tranquilizers. They are running as fast as they can, but early on, Stinky got injured after he fell out of the tree. So he can't run as fast, even though when he got injured, he was shown not running for like a second. You know, obviously. Then the next second, he is running fine. So they're still running, then Humphrey says that they're gonna do something and tells Kate to get the pups out of there. And then he runs back towards the hunters and kills them? Yep, I am not kidding. I am not kidding. We never see them again. The next scene, Kate and the others find a way out of the forest. Kate runs back in for Humphrey. Couple seconds pass, the others all worry that they won't come back at all, but then they both come out with triumphing music, and both of them are perfectly fine. But as I said, we never see those hunters again. Humphrey straight up killed them off screen. Holy shit, Humphrey. They can't call you an Omega anymore after this. Jeez, man. Holy hell. Like, how else are you supposed to look at it? The last you saw as he runs towards it is his mouth jumping at them. Yeah, they're dead. Did not see that coming. Humphrey is a murderer. Overall, this movie is not good. Most of it is flashbacks or jokes they already did in other movies. Most of the returning characters are just annoying. The animation vote is fine for the most part. The running is still hilariously bad though. It's the one part that kills it for me, and there's a lot of running in this movie. Oh boy, a lot. So I find this one hard to score, honestly, because like, the scenes where they are actually focusing on the story aren't all that bad, and it could have been good, but I don't think it was that great. It was all pointless, but not as bad as the third movie. That was horrendous. What? So that's why I will score this movie a 3 out of 10 foxes. It's not the worst thing, it's just very boring and very pointless. But that is the end of this review. As always, tell me down in the comments below if you have seen this movie and what you think of it. And subscribe to my channel because I'll love you if you do. And don't forget to give it a like and hit that bell icon as well while you're at it. Oh man, 5 movies down. 5 down. Whew, I wonder what the next one has in store for me. It has dinosaurs, dancing, and is the most hated of the franchise. Oh, fuck. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. What? Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. swords. What else do I have to say about this movie? Oh, I don't know. How about blooming freaking dinosaurs in this movie? Oh, holy damn hell, what the frick-frack paddywhack happened here? What were they thinking? What in the holy damn were they thinking? Oh, I see what the fans mean, because even I, a dinosaur lover, can't say that this is a good movie, or even just an okay movie. This was the worst one so far, easily. It doesn't take a genius to see that. Let's start with this ridiculous story, shall we? It starts 65 million years in the past with an obvious female pink dinosaur named Amy. She is running away from a T-Rex, and then the meteorites come down while they are standing in a beam of light that then disappears after the meteorites hit, sending them flying into it. It only took me 4 minutes to start laughing at how bad the animation is. It's the worst of the series. It came out in 2016. It looks like something that came out in the 90s. It looks horrible. It's absolutely horrible to look at. And of course, freaking dinosaurs. So we cut to a present where apparently some dude leveled half a forest with no one knowing to build a golf course and is desecrating a sacred burial site. Oh, also the boss is a gas station person, or just simply looks like him because they like to reuse models a lot. Like the fact his brother looks exactly the same. Not like Mario and Luigi the same, like exactly the same. But then it gets worse, because then we see these two. And yes, we are told later they are the exact same hunters from the last movie. So Humphrey isn't a murderer! Huzzah! But then, what the hell happened at the end of the last movie? Did he just jump out of them teeth fine and give them like sloppy kisses or something? Did he just have like a nice conversation with them? What the hell happened at the end of that movie? Seriously, what the hell happened then? But now we have the big guy who is now literally dressed up like the biker. Like I previously mentioned, he looked like, and now he literally looks like him. He's literally wearing the exact same outfit. Oh my god. Do we just have like the same 3 models they recycle over and over? Oh guys, come on, talk about lazy. So those two are now diggers, not hunters, and now digging their way into a sacred burial ground, which just happens to be a place where dinosaur skeletons are. Even though there aren't any around and they're digging around without any care in the world, yet know that there are dinosaur bones below the surface, but like yeah, they just don't give a damn where they, you know, what tools they use and what they do. Okay, so one of the dudes breaks through, releasing some light, and I guess magically it resurrects Amy down there, who then is like, oh, crickets! That's her catchphrase right away. She says it all the damn time. And sees the light coming towards the remains of the T-Rex, and so she climbs up to the hole to try and stop it. But we'll say here, you would think that like her climbing out of the hole, you would obviously like the humans would see her. They would see her coming out at that specific moment, but of course not. It cuts away from it, so nothing happens. You're left wondering, okay, what the hell happened? Because she is coming up while they're there, yet somehow no one notices her. She doesn't. Movie. You can't just cut away from a moment like that when it's just like, obviously there's humans right there, she's right fucking here coming right up, and she's gonna be noticed. She is going to be noticed. You can't cut away from a moment like that. We're not even 4 minutes in, and I'm already wanting to switch it off or switch myself off because I just don't want to continue from here. Oh god, and the animation, worse so far, it's so bad. I always mentioned the running, but now even the walking is bad. Just the walking, all the little mouth movements, just everything is bad. Just every little bit of animation is bad, guys. So, apparently Kate and Humphrey decide to go look for a new cave because all the troubles I had with rogue wolves, which were only a problem in the second movie. All the others were actual just other packs that happened to be in the area that those guys went into. But yeah, so apparently the guy who destroyed the forest has such built fake caves. Yes, fake because they are made out of recycling materials. What that even means, I don't know. They even have a freaking clapper light installed. I don't know what the hell this movie even is. But these fake caves are built right next to a freaking golf course. Like, why would you destroy the forest for a golf course just to put caves right next to the frickin' thing so wolves have homes? Like, at least you still gave them a home, but what the actual hell? People will not come to a golf course where wolves roam so close by. Oh my gosh. Just thinking about it more just hurts my brain. Because literally, for just like, there's the mountains, here's the golf course. Guys, come on! So here we see Kate and Huffley wanting to move into one of these caves so it's somewhere safe, away from the road wolves, and the pups can live a happy life. They even have a wolf trying to sell them the cave. They have wolf retailers. Who then gets angry because Marcel and Patty show up and she's like, oh, we're gonna poop on everything. I wonder how money works in this world. It hurts thinking about it. What? What? Wolf retailers? Like, people trying to, a wolf trying to sell them a home? What does she get out of it? What? What? Huh? We also get the first poop joke here. There's a few little toilet humors in this movie. This is the type of sequel I was talking about when I mentioned it has a bunch of kids in it. And would be kid friendly with silly potty humor. Because yeah, it's there. So Marcel and Patty show up and tell them to take the place because it's right near a golf course and they do love their golf. Oh. Oh, and guess what the place is called? Wolfburbia. What is this movie? Who were the writers for this garbage? Seriously, this is just so bad. What happened? What the hell happened? And then like the pups come in and we get this weird animation of one of them just sliding backwards on a log. It's just, what? What? And Wanton's looking a little goth from how dark the upper part of his face looks, and he's got eyelashes and even more so than his sister. And then strands of black hair coming down his face now. I kind of dig it. I'm kind of glad they changed up his look a little bit. I guess to look a little different than his brother. But yeah, now they actually changed him, gave him a bit more of a specific kind of look. It's weird, because it just suddenly happens. But whatever. Marcel teaches Humphrey to golf and it looks awkward as hell. Maybe a little funny, but mostly because of how stupid it all looks. And is. The pups wander off. Wad does his little tree climbing thing and sees Amy the dinosaur up in a tree hiding. But here he's like, oh, we wanted to meet the locals and make some new friends and we are not so bad. So then Amy shows herself scaring the pups. Wad falls out of the tree pretty damn far, but he is fine compared to the last movie where Sticky hurt himself falling out of a tree. So they run away, and then Amy chases after them, saying that she isn't bad and all that, and she didn't mean to scare them. But then she ends up spinning out of control, smacking the pups with her tail, and making them fly through the air like frickin' rockets.
Now let's all do the spin out.
What? The spin out?
Crickets. Watch out for my tail.
It is ridiculous, so ridiculous, because of course they are not hurt when they hit the ground. Yet, oh god damn it, just nothing has happened like this in the last few movies, so now it just has like all this cartoony kind of things to it. Like it's just so, it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. What happened? What happened? So afterwards we see Amy and the pups chatting and she is explaining her story and what is going on, and this is where it gets even more weird. Yeah, weirder than it already is. Basically they kinda survived the meteorites in a way, but like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like their spirits survived? Okay, I guess I get that. But then most of the movie she is talking about wanting to go home and how she has to return to it to be able to survive. Like they talk about like the sacred ground as if it's like some kind of portal or something. Or like she still lives in her time, but then her spirit is in this one at the moment or something. Because she doesn't say she was buried underground, no, she says she was living underground. I don't get what the hell is happening at all. It's kind of confusing, but at the same time, I'm not putting in the effort to understand it. My brain hurts enough just watching it. Anyway, she is saying they need to stop the diggers from accidentally resurrecting the T-Rex because somehow the light will resurrect him. Again, just so confusing. So does she like live down there as a spirit with him? Because that must be a pretty crappy life then to be constantly chased around in a small cave by a meat eater. So Pops decide to help out, and so they need to get the diggers away from the grounds. So how do they do that? By driving away in their truck. Yep, the Pops know how to drive apparently. Because they end up stealing the truck and drive away with it. It's a pretty dumb scene. But here comes one of the worst scenes in the movie. Yes, here comes the dancing scene. But what I did realize, there's more than one. Basically, the golf course is all fake, including the water parts of it, like the fish are fake, but Marcel and Patty still swim around in it, and then randomly music starts to play. That attracts more birds and puts them in a trance-like state. Then water around them sprays up like a water fountain all over in all kinds of different colours. And here, we get a Disco Vegas kind of dance scene thing. It's so bad. It's so bad. The awkward part is that there isn't like any singing. This looks like a scene that should have singing, but there isn't any. So it just comes off as just so awkward and horrible. Not that singing could save a scene anyway. Just why is this in here? Why does this scene exist? How could they do this? How? So the Pops end up showing her around, taking her to a train we have seen many times, showing her them howling, and then she howls. Of course. Duh, wouldn't she? And then 5 minutes after that, we get another dance scene. This time, with Amy dancing with her birds and such, but she doesn't really understand what happened to her, like Marcel and Patty. Again, it's just cringy and horrible and weird and out of place. And just so out of place like the first time it happened. Just why? The movie. Come on. But some random stuff happens. They introduce Amy to their parents at first, and all they do is just stare out of fear, which is kind of funny. Keyword there, kinda. But yeah, they tell them what's going on and what they need to do. Later during the day, we see shocker, like an actual real shock here. We see 3 new models for humans. Holy crap! They actually made more models for this movie. Holy crap! Whoa! That I did not expect at all. That is a huge shock. Oh, Jesus Christ, movie. You actually did something. You actually put in some effort. Oh my gosh. Like, holy crap, we actually see more people and they don't look like anyone in particular. Good job, movie. Good job. But yeah, I do love that. Yeah, there's a bunch of new people. Like, yes, there's actually 3 new models. Problem is, there's more than three people in the scenes all the time. You get like plenty of scenes where you see the same 2 people standing near each other. They made new models and they just copied and pasted them in the same scenes. I take those claps back. You get one. You get 1 clap. Anyway, I won't explain much more because I just don't want to talk about this movie anymore. They try stopping the humans, but it's too late. They awaken a T-Rex who looks so freaking derpy. He reminds me of Hey from Moana. He looks so derpy. What the hell, animators? We are supposed to be scared of that thing? No! It looks so stupid. He looks so harmless because he's so stupid looking. Like, we are supposed to... No, I'm not scared of him. Like, I just want to pet his head and tell him he's special. In more ways than one. Yikes, animators. Jesus. So the movie continues, dinosaur attacks a human, and then so the others have to figure out what to do. So what can they do? They attract the dinosaur to the fountain because it seems to affect birds. And since dinosaurs are ancestors of birds, so luckily, and apparently they are anyway, it affects the dinosaurs. It affects the T-Rex. And here we finally get the dad scene. And someone singing a song during it. Oh lord, this climax is hilariously bad. Especially because the T-Rex looks so goofy the entire time. It's just one of the worst things I have ever seen, and I wish I was joking or just lying or something. No, this is easily like the top 5 worst things I've ever seen in a movie because it's just so damn cringy. And just 6 sequels in, and it just, and the 4th one wasn't bad, 5th one was just dumb. This one's just bad. The sequels are so mixed. They're all over the freaking place as to what's bad, what's good, what's bad, good, what. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Just what was the idea here? From what I heard, the last 3 movies were kind of made by other people or a different company or something. I'm not exactly quite sure about all that. Which does explain Wat's redesign to not look like his brother, which I do appreciate. But the horrible, absolute horrible animation, the stupid ass plot, having no respect for the series and just being the goddamn worst. So by distracting him with the singing and dancing, they're able to get him into the light thing that appeared at the beginning, allowing them to return home, or to a land of the dead, or to space. I don't know. It looks like a UFO beam. They could be. I don't know. This movie was awful. It's one of the worst things I have ever seen. The animation is just so horrible. The plot now. Maybe in other films it could work, but in Alpha and Omega, when nothing like this has ever happened, sure, we got a ghost spirit thing in the 4th one, sure, but that one felt believable in a way, and it was a really good story. It had great characters for the most part. There's those 2 annoying ones, but for the most part, it had a great character, great story, and just. I felt for those characters and for that story. And it had great animation, the best looking of the sequels for sure. And yeah, the story tugged at my heartstrings. This is an abomination. This has to be the worst sequel to a movie I have ever seen. I am not kidding. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. You'll probably have so much fun watching this as I did though, because it's just so bad. I will give this movie a score of 1 out of 10. Because I just explained why. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. But at the same time in the best way. It surely can't get worse, can it? Hey guys, Blazie here. And Alpha Omega 7, the big furries. You know, it'd be great by that title. I don't even know how to review this movie, to be honest. It's just so boring. I think I've just given up after watching the 6th movie. That broke me from how bad it was. And I barely gave a damn watching this one. I didn't expect it to get better, and well, okay, compared to that one, it did. It wasn't worse, I will say that. But it's not even so bad it's good. It's just boring. And that's the worst kind of film. But the one good thing in this movie, something I have been waiting for and wondering if it will ever happen, this movie is Stinky's movie! Huzzah! He finally got his own movie after like 6 sequels. And we get a bit of a better understanding as to why it's called Stinky. It's basically he's got a great sense of smell. And, you know, he can track things down. Which I have shown in the other films, it just wasn't such a big deal basically, while it is a lot more shown off and such in this movie. So let's just jump into the story then. It starts off with the 3 pups hunting a squirrel, and we get my favourite line in all of these movies.
Do the spin out, Claudette!
It will never get old to me. It's never gets old. But here we get some bad dialogue that happens throughout the film. So many misplaced jokes that don't make any sense, or it's just really bad dialogue. It's not something I say or really even bother mentioning in films and reviews and such, but I noticed that in this movie it's just so bad. The dialogue is so bad. So basically the squirrel is hiding in snow and pops up here and there like a whack-a-mole basically, and What is trying to jump on top of him and says, "How did you know I'm a gamer?" It's just such bad dialogue. I get it, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't, and it's constantly like that throughout the entire film. So basically a big snowstorm is coming in, and Kane and Humphrey having to return home for trying to look for the caribou, aka their food, who are taken off in search of safety. So of course the Pops want to go out and look for them. We also see Winston and the mum character here, I forget her name, well, Grandma now, as the Pops call her. So yay, other characters, and in a flashback we see Lily as well. Oh, even though it's just in the background, she never talks or anything, she's just laying there. But she's there! That's a start or something, I guess, I don't know. So as I said, the Pops want to go look for the parents. Winston says not to because of the storm, but they do end up finding Marcel and Patty, hoping that they can, like, you know, see them and help out, but all they end up doing is sleeping. Great job, guys, great job, great help you are. So at night, when everyone is sleeping, the Pups sneak out, and so we get Stinky being useful. He uses his good sense of smell to be able to smell out where to go, basically. During this time, we do see Kate and Humphrey ended up in the cave during the storm, and I have to say, these two really are whores. Like, Humphrey is just all like, oh, why not take advantage of the alone time? And pulls out some wild berries, as I'm guessing, like, get them, like, drunk or something like that. Those two really do like being naughty, don't they? I kind of appreciate that in, like, an animated kids movie, there's just, like, the main couple is just, like, obsessed with sex. Because they've done quite a few jokes like that throughout all the sequels, and I kind of appreciate that. I kind of do. I really do, actually. But then they realise they're in a bear cave, and as they go to leave, 3 bears show up and just fall wide asleep for hibernation. So they're stuck there, basically. So the Pups continue moving, and then Stinky can smell bread for bear we have seen in the other movies, who was like Stinky's best pal apparently. He said that in the 5th movie too, which is odd because like in the 3rd when he was introduced, those two like never interacted or did anything to say, yeah, we are friends. But apparently they're friends. Though stupidly, you see just bread all covered up in snow, basically a snow bear. Ha. But the Pups somehow think he's a polar bear, even though it's not moving or anything at all. And they are all like, why is all the way out here? Then just, but I could still smell my friend. Oh no, the polar bear must have eaten him. They do say like the polar bear must have died, because like his arms are spread out, standing up. Okay, Pups, I know you're young and all, but like if you're not freezing to death, then I'm pretty sure a polar bear won't. And I'm pretty sure he won't die just standing there with his arms out like a scarecrow. And Stinky even goes right up to her and still thinks it's polar bear and not just snow. So then Agnes, the porcupine friend, shows up and frees Bread, saying you should be in hibernation, but you are sleepwalking again. So that's basically how he's still out, and basically, and I guess he just fell asleep with his arms out. Why was his arms out? They did not think about that. We go back to the others in the cave and we get another out of place joke. They try to sneak by the sleeping bears. One opens his eyes, Humphrey says while waving his paw aloud, "These are not the wolves you are looking for." Humphrey, they weren't looking for wolves. That reference makes no sense here. It makes no sense. God, the dialogue is just so bad. All the jokes and references and all this kind of stuff, none of it works. None of it works. It's not funny. It's just bad writing. Like, I get what they tried to do with some of these jokes, but they just don't work. They don't. It's just so bad. There's just no effort put into this movie. That exactly explains everything and why I just don't care. Because the people making it just didn't care. There's no effort put into anything to make it just make any sense at all. And I apologise if this review is just as lazy sounding, because if they're not getting put in the effort, then I'm not. There's not much to talk about here. It's just so boring. Moving on, the rogue wolf from the second movie shows up with one other, and they're kind of just disgraced wolves now, going round, and they see the pups that go after them because they ruined their lives, though really they did that themselves. Though, we then get probably the best chase scene I've ever seen, because they run out on the ice and they're constantly slipping and sliding on the ice, including the bad guys. And it's just freaking hilarious, because they're meant to be like these evil dudes chasing after them, trying to eat them or whatever, kill them basically, kill the pups any way possible. And they're just like running and sliding and slipping everywhere, and it's just, but like, with a horrible one animation, it's just so damn hilarious, but like, not in the way it's supposed to be. It's just freaking hilarious, and it's a must see, because it's horrendous. Like, it's meant to be like, haha, we're all slipping, sliding everywhere, but the animation just makes it look freaking hilarious, but because it's just bad, it's just awful, absolutely awful. And then Bread ends up breaking through the ice, and that scene, the animation is horrible. It's one of the worst in this movie. Probably, no, it is like the worst in this movie. And then like, he's like screaming, but his mouth isn't moving, and just, oh god. This entire scene that goes on and on and on is absolutely horrible. And then Claudette runs out towards the bad wolves, and they call her a meal on wheels, or I didn't even order room service. God damn, the dialogue is awful. So bad. None of these jokes fit into what is happening. Like, okay, no, they tried, but my god, none of it works as intended. They're just forcibly shoved in there, and it's just so cringy. It's cringy and awful. But it gets better. It gets better, because the Sonic returns. Yeah, once again, screw this Sonic. This is the real Sonic right here. What the hell, guys? Not even subtle this time. Just, yep, she is Sonic because she attacks a wolf like that. And yeah, it's so dumb. It's just, god damn, it is so dumb. So dumb. Oh my god, just, this is making me angry. This is legit making me angry right now. It's just so bad. I'm just going to say everything a lot more quicker and everything, and just kind of go for it, because there's not much to say. The pups get away. The other two wolves meet up with Leek and Lyle. We have to admit, were absolutely adorable. Basically, they're twins and not the brightest, but they're also just extremely nice. I really like these two because they weren't annoying. Finally, a movie that didn't add new annoying characters, but two I actually liked. Huzzah! So Kay and Humphrey escape the cave, but the bears wake up after and sees the wolf tracks, so we follow after them. Oh, also the adult bears actually talk in this one. In all the other movies, it was only the young bears that ever talked. None of the adult bears ever did, so that's a different little change, and I don't know. Like, why now? I guess is the question. But it ends with the pups and parrots fighting each other, with the bears showing up, and they do the classic log thing to escape. So, what is up with Kate's face here? Well, what is that thing on her muzzle? Huh? So they end up escaping, everything seems all happy and joyful, everyone is walking away together, and Watt lays down in the snow making a wolf snow angel. But they end up walking pretty far away from him as Marcel and Paddy finally show up to do something. And then the disgraced wolves all show up, four of them now, as Leek and Lyle had joined up with them. Because basically they were starving and the Western wolves weren't getting any food, so they decided to become traitors, sadly. So we get this intense scene with intense music and everything where the wolves are chasing after Watt and he's running back to his parents as Kay and Humphrey are trying to save him. It's a really intense scene. Like, oh no. And this whole scene lasts for 1 minute. But right here we see Kate and Humphrey so close to him, they just need to go a little further and then they can save him. You wanna know how long it takes for them to get there after this particular scene? Is it 2 seconds? Maybe 5 seconds. Surely not 10. 10 at the max, right? It takes 45 seconds. It takes 45 seconds to get from there to there. That scene should not have been included in the movie, because I don't think it will take 45 seconds going in a straight line to get from there to there. And here, Marcel and Paddy are useful for once, or at least Marcel is anyway, because he uses golf skills to knock out the wolves one by one. Oh my god, this chase scene was hilarious. Just the intense music, and it's just like, yeah, that one scene where they're so close, but then, yeah, I counted. It took 45 freaking seconds for them to actually meet up. Anyway, it ends here pretty much. Everyone's alive and well. They find a cowboy, head them back towards near their cave, and everything is great. But not this movie. This movie's not great. It's so boring, so dull, so lifeless, so bad. There was no effort at all, and there was no effort put into this movie at all. And I apologise if I didn't put the energy into this review, as I said, but it's just... there's not much to talk about. It's just boring. It's boring, and it's bad. It's so bad. I spent most of the time watching this movie, my hand in just like this, like literally. I made joke about it here and there, but like you know, but like I was literally doing that while watching this movie because it's just bad. It's just, but not a good bad. See, I would watch the other movies again. I will watch 3 again. I will watch 6 again. Because they're so bad, it's good. I will gladly admit that. They're so bad, it's good. And watching them with friends, getting drunk, or something like that. Not that I do, I don't drink, but that's beside the point, whatever. Would be an absolute blast. Because you could have so much fun laughing at how bad it is. Well, this one, it's just boring. I don't ever want to watch this movie again. No, it's bad. It's just so boring. This movie is easily a 2 out of 10 Foxes. You know, see, the last movie I did give a 1, but that's because like even though I say it's so bad it's good, it's still a bad movie. I completely 100% recognize it's an awful movie. But that's awful in so many more ways than what this one is. But this one is still extremely bad. So that's why it's a 2, because it's a lot more believable story. The story itself is very sort of safe. It kind of plays it safe. It doesn't really do anything too outrageous. It's very believable, kind of normal kind of story. So that's why it gets at least 1 more point above the previous movie, which had a stupid ass story. Anyway guys, that's it for this review. 1 more to go. Well, 1 more Alpha and Omega movie. I am so done. I am so done with this franchise at this point. I really am. I haven't even I'll get there. I'll get there. One more is all I gotta do. Hey guys, Blazie here, and first of all I just want to apologise for not uploading this last week. I've been sick and haven't been able to film anything for a while. All the other stuff I did upload was pre-recorded. Anyway, let's just get on to this review. Well, here we are, finally, the last Alpha and Omega movie. This was way too much for me. This series broke me over and over again. But at the same time, I laughed a lot, to be honest. Sometimes because it was just so bad, or sometimes because it was actually funny. I smiled, I got angry, I had all sorts of feelings watching this movie series, to be honest. And overall, not as horrible as I thought, but at the same time, just as horrible as you think it will be. But in the weirdest, most unexpected way. All these movies are very mixed, and I can't really recommend any of them. But at the same time, I recommend the ones I said that were horrible, just because they're so fun to watch. And they really made me laugh. I got some serious laughs when things got bad. Just especially 3 and 6. Go watch those ones if you like torturing yourself, but in like a fun kind of way. Something like that. But anyway, it's time to review the 8th and final movie. Alpha and Omega, Journey to Bear Kingdom. More like Bear's Journey into Wolf Kingdom. So the pups have decided to go to Eastern Tribes region to play around and meet the Bear Queen who is coming to visit. Bear's Journey into Wolf Kingdom, as I said. With her daughter, the princess, who is extremely British. Yes, like apparently bears have kings and queens and all that kind of stuff, have that kind of thing going. For some reason, all of a sudden now, they do. You never know what you just don't know what to expect out of these movies. I'll give them that. You never know what the hell they're gonna come up with next. But then as the Queen is greeting everyone, the rogue wolves attack. The leader being the same as the second and seventh movie, though it doesn't mention it, and even though he was apparently a disgraced wolf and just like had one other person with him, and then like Leek and Lyle in the last movie, now a whole bunch of wolves follow him. Sure movie. But yes, they attack, but Pops help the princess escape while the Queen makes her own way out and gets some help with squirrels and caribou. But turns out there's some traitors amongst the bears, and when they can't take out the Queen, they go after the king, who is still at the kingdom. They take him out, and the wolves and bear traders take over. Like, that's the overall story. I'm not gonna go into it, because honestly, I want to be done with the series, and I'm still sick at the moment, so I want to get this review over and done with. And honestly, there isn't much to really talk about. Like, a bunch of stuff happens, like the princess and queen and all that are safe, and they go to the kingdom, and then the king's fine, he's still alive and everything. He got pushed off a mountain into water, but yeah, he's fine and everything, and then they take back their kingdom, and everything's all fine and dandy, and like sour candy. Everything's fine in the end. But yeah, there just isn't really much to really talk about. How can I talk about any of these sequels after the dinosaur one, to be honest? There's nothing that can beat that. Like, the last one is just hugely boring. I will at least say this one has a plot. This one, like, is easy to follow, but it has, like, actually plots and twists and turns. They actually did try with this one, I feel like. I feel like they did actually try. Yes, it actually has a plot, but honestly, this could be in any movie, because, like, the main Pops and Kate and Humphrey are barely in this movie. Yeah, like, they focus a lot on the bears quite a bit, and there's nothing memorable from the Pops. So Humphrey does have a kind of silly moment, putting on like a little outfit and dancing around and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of funny. It's new. Again, they tried with this one. I feel like they really did try. It just doesn't work. Okay, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just boring. It's just boring. Like, 3 and 6 were bad because of like the animation, because of the stupid plot, the stupid ideas, and stupidness of it all. And like, because they tried with this one, it just doesn't have anything going for it that makes it exciting or fun, and just stupid dumb that makes you want to laugh. This doesn't have any of that. So it's kind of boring, but not as boring as what the other one was. Like, as I said, like, with Humphrey doing like the little costume, putting on a little voice and all that, being a Trojan wolf, as he put it, that's the only memorable part. Like, really, there isn't much to talk about. Like the last one, oh, the gooses apparently can make themselves sound like bagpipes. Odd. Also, there's a magpie literally called Magpie. Odd. The fur texture on the new bear models looks awful, to be honest. Like, they haven't bathed in days. Also, Fleet is back, but looking much darker. What is up with everyone going through an emo phase? This movie wasn't as boring as the last. Like, things were happening again, and it did have a plot, so it did keep moving. I was watching it compared to the last one, where I just didn't give a damn. But still didn't feel excited or anything. At least the final fight scene looked decent, at least compared to the last few we've seen. But once it's all done, it ends in a dad scene. Of course it does. What a great way to end a franchise, that's for sure. With a dad scene. But honestly, there's nothing I haven't already talked about. Like, this movie just isn't great, but it's not the worst. This was better than the last movie, but not by much. That's why I'll give this movie a score of 3 out of 10 foxes. It's not good, but it's not awful either. At this point though, I don't really care. I'm just so happy to finally be done with this franchise. Like, I will say, like, the first movie I do enjoy. It is far above this one, that's for sure. I even own the Blu-ray of the first one, mostly just because, like, I paid like $4 for it. But I don't mind that I own this movie. It's not bad. It's not. I still recommend seeing this one. Honestly, I don't mind the first Alpha and Omega movie. I don't. but like it's not bad. Then the sequel wasn't too bad either. It wasn't too awful. Like I expected worse, but it's passable. It's passable. It's harmless. I can't really go saying anything bad about it besides the animation. And then like they did get like a lot of new voice actors. Like it's all new voice actors, but all of them do a really good job of sounding like the other characters, like how they should sound. So I can't say too much about it, honestly. The third one though was hilariously bad. I loved it and hated it so much. The fourth one was actually pretty good. I did enjoy the fourth one. It had an interesting story. I really like those kind of mysteries kind of stories. The fifth one was a lazy flashback movie. The sixth was again hilariously bad. More so than the third, but still really, really bad. And the sunlight is finally disappearing. Getting nothing but rain at the moment, and just like this one time that it gets sunny that I was like, okay, I'm less sick, let's make a video. Okay, it's slowly coming back. And then the seventh one was just boring as hell. And this one, just not good, but not bad, but not average either. It's just there. I will say for those who are intrigued, watch 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. The others, definitely not. Only if you like really want to watch Alpha and Omega. I do still recommend the first one, I really do. Second one, if you really want to see more of the characters and such, yeah, sure. The third, if you want to have a good time. 3 and 6, if you want to have a good time, watch those movies because they're bad. They're bad, but in the best way. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Alpha and Omega movies. I don't know what will come next for a big series anyway. I do have one in mind. I got one, but it's going to take a very long time to get through, so I'm not going to do that for quite a while. Going to give myself a break from doing like the big sort of series. You know, I'll definitely take a break from that and just review little movies, because as you can tell, with this being a very short review compared to the others, I lost a lot of interest after the 6th movie. That one just broke me. I'm just tired about talking about these movies. I do have a few sequel movies I want to review, but either way, no matter what video I do, I hope you do continue watching and enjoying my videos. I also hope you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, because I'll love you if you do, and hit that bell icon, and this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.